the tragedy that shocked the world. Today marks 25 years since the shocking death of Princess Diana.
In just a moment, Camilla and Giles will be joining us to reflect on Princess Diana's incredible legacy.
And we'll also be speaking to the devoted fans who are marking the special anniversary at Kensington Palace today.
Yeah, but first, Richard Gainsford is joining us live from Paris. Tell us, whereabouts are you, Richard?
I'm at the Place Diana, Vernon, and this is a very special place in the memory of those who are thinking about Diana today. Just take a look over here. You can see the Eiffel Tower. We're on the edge of the River Seine. This is the end of the Pont d'Alma Bridge, and there is plenty of media activity here today. Lots of people here talking about this anniversary, and many people can't believe it has been a quarter of a century. The reason this is the focus is that just below where I'm standing, very sadly, this is where the crash happened in the tunnel below us here. You can see the cars appearing from the tunnel on the other side of the Flame of Liberty there, and that has become the de facto memorial really to Diana here in Paris. And for the last 25 years, people have been coming to this very spot basically to pay respects, to lay flowers, and today is like any other, except that we have these messages from people very much about this 25-year anniversary, people coming to put things down that mean something to them, to leave pictures that mean something to them. A lot of devoted fans still here in Paris. I saw one man come this morning, he had 3 pot plants in his hand. He also had this giant heart that's over on the fence there as well. People very touched still, 25 years since this dreadful accident happened.
Absolutely. Tell us exactly what happened, Richard, on that night 25 years ago.
So you'll remember that Princess Diana was here in Paris with Dodi El Fayed, who was a companion at the time. They were at the Ritz Hotel, and as they left the Ritz in a car driven by a man called Henri Paul with Trevor Rhys-Jones, who was the security operative, also in the vehicle, they were pursued by paparazzi, and they got to that tunnel pursued by the paparazzi, and at some point Henri Paul lost control of the vehicle. Now, as to why that happened is still a matter of some debate for many. It has been deemed, after many millions of pounds worth of investigation and time and effort, to be an accident. Princess Diana, very sadly, along with Dodi El Fayed, not wearing a seatbelt. Dodi El Fayed and Henri Paul were both declared dead at the scene. Trevor Rhys-Jones had serious injuries but survived, and Princess Diana was pronounced dead in hospital hours later. The French police say it is still a matter of lasting frustration to them that they still haven't found that white Fiat car. You'll remember this from the time, a car that was thought to be involved in some way in the tunnel. Paint from that car had appeared on the chauffeur-driven Mercedes. It has never been found, and I think that's why so many people still feel that conspiracy theories and the fact that for them this might still be something of a mystery.
Is that the white Fiat 500 is the car that they're looking for, which they think was also involved in the accident, Richard?
Yeah, that's right, and at the time, a huge amount of publicity about that particular vehicle. You'll remember that it had been seen by a lot of others, that there was footage of it. There was these reports of a blinding flash. There were the scooter riders of the paparazzi in the tunnel around, and those photographers stopped and were then taking pictures of the aftermath and the wreckage of Princess Diana herself in her dying moments. It is a very difficult time for many to think back to those quite disturbing events, none less, of course, than for her sons, who will not be marking this. There is no official engagements here, no events, none in London either. A very quiet time, 25 years on, and a chance to pause and reflect.
Still feels just as real as it did 25 years ago, doesn't
Absolutely.
it?
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you very much, Richard. Now, as some of Princess Diana's devoted fans mark the anniversary at Kensington Palace, our This Morning reporter David Blackmore is joining us from there now. What's the feeling where you are, David?
Morning, Rochelle. Morning, Vernon. It's been a steady flow of people coming down here today to pay their own personal tributes to Princess Diana. Now, for some people, it's been a bouquet of flowers. For others, it's been their favourite Diana picture. And for some, if I just get the camera over there, a little portrait of Diana too. Plus, there are some banners that have been put up here. Now, for you watching at home, you'll probably remember this site 25 years ago. There was the carpet of flowers. 15 tonnes of bouquets, 60 million individual flowers from people all across the UK. and internationally, all descending on Kensington Palace and these gates here to pay their own personal respects to Princess Diana. Now, on this day, for the last 25 years, as you were saying, a group of devoted Diana supporters, they come here, they gather together and they celebrate the life of Princess Diana. And today, they've brought this absolutely fantastic floral tribute to Princess Diana, and we're just going to speak to him now. So, Carol, you were here, one of the first people here when the news broke. So just talk me through your memories of being here on that day.
It was just amazing how everyone was bringing up flowers. I've never known anything like it.
Well, when you first got here, you laid your flowers.
Yes.
You would have had no understanding of just how big it would have grown over those days and weeks that came.
No, I didn't. I put some flowers up here, and then I went to the opposite the Royal Garden Hotel and sat on the pavement and just watched the flowers grow.
So why is it so important for you to come here every year and to celebrate Diana's life?
She was just an amazing person. She was a breath of fresh air for the royal family, and I think everybody loved her.
Yeah, and for Maria, for you, why is it so important that you're here every year and coming back? Because you've been coming here, since 2008, right?
Yeah, I feel it's very important. I feel Diana can never be forgotten. She's paved the way for Princess William and Harry and all they do now for charity. And Diana can never be forgotten. She broke the stigma of AIDS single-handedly. And she was just a very inspirational woman.
And for you, we've been celebrating the life of Diana for 25 years. Why is it so important that we celebrate it for the next 25 years?
Because of everything she stood for, everything she did. It's very important, and you're seeing it through Princess William and Harry now, and everybody admires their work. I mean, what Prince William's doing now for male suicide and things, it's absolutely fantastic. If it wasn't for Diana, none of this would be happening today.
And Patrick, you've come over here from Belfast,
yes,
but you're only in your early 30s. Now, for a lot of people that were sort of those Diana supporters,
yes,
the expectation would be that they would be a bit older.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You probably don't remember a huge amount of when Diana died, do you?
No, not really. I was only 7 at the time, but it was sort of just the years after and just sort of growing up and seeing all the images and just being fascinated and learning more about her life and her legacy. And I just loved her. And then with her dying in 1997, I was 7. But my mum died in 2003 when I was 13, and Harry was 13 going on 14 when the princess died. So I sort of linked my loss with the prince's loss, and that just grew my knowledge of them, and I just got into the history of the royal family and just admired Diana's work and her legacy. She was just an inspirational person and really the people's princess, and she's just done so much for the ordinary people, and she really shone a light on so many issues that people wouldn't touch, and there was things that people wouldn't have expected the royal family to do.
Yeah. Patrick, Maria, Carol, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, Rochelle and Vernon, the tributes are going to be continuing to pour here into the afternoon and well into the evening. It's been a combination of young and old, which really does hit home the fact that Princess Diana was very much the Queen's people.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, David. Thank you
Giles,
very much.
Camilla, it just goes to show you that even though it's 25 years on, it still cuts through, doesn't it?
Very much so. Actually,
still
my
feels
daughter
really
said
raw.
to me the other day, because she's 13, so she's like, tell me about Princess Diana. She was a legend, wasn't she? And I sort of told her about her, and I don't know, it makes me feel emotional watching all that because she was this hugely iconic figure, but also somebody who I just think, we were discussing it earlier, and I sort of, from all of the people I've spoke to that ever worked for her or knew her, just said, look, she took the work seriously, but not herself. And that was part of her charm.
I love that.
She was just a very genuinely kind, good and humorous person, you know. She did have a lot of joy in her life.
She was interested in making a difference, not simply making a noise.
Giles, you were friends, right?
Well, I knew her. She used to buy my jumpers. That's how I got to know her. And she was just fun. She was a fun, happy, lovely person. And of course, that was one of her favourites. Show the back of that one. She liked it because of what it says in the back.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
And there's some fun pictures of her with the boys wearing that. You saw all the flowers there. There were also lots of teddy bears that were left. And the Queen was anxious that the teddy bear shouldn't be thrown away. The flowers died. And so all the teddy bears were gathered up. And I and some other people given the responsibility of giving the teddy bears to good homes. So all the teddy bears, and there were seas, I mean, millions of people were affected by this. And the thousands of teddy bears, they went to children's homes and hospitals in Eastern Europe. And the ones with personal messages to Diana were given to me to keep in our teddy bear museum.
Wow, goodness me. Do you know what, obviously for you, Giles, you knew her, and obviously so it's very different for you, but we all sort of, I was only 9 or 10, but we all remember where we were when we heard at news,
I was
right?
in the middle of... I was in my second year uni and I was working at Luton Airport. Had to get up really early for a shift because I used to do the promotions, like, for the booze and perfumes and stuff. And I remember going into Luton at 6 a.m. and passengers were coming in, about to go on their holidays, in tears. We were having to comfort just ordinary members of the public because there was this just shockwave sent through Britain and across the world, which I think has never been repeated because she was one of a kind.
It touched people's own lives. They felt for themselves. The person there talked about his mother. It was to do with their loss. In her, they lost something of themselves.
Yeah. Camilla, Giles, thank you very much.